Hi everyone. My name is Ghina Haikal. Currently I work at UNICEF Jordan Country Office as a Makani Program Associate. So for everyone to know, Makani Program is a program that is implemented in the social protection section in UNICEF, which provides an integrated package of services for children and youth in vulnerable and marginalized communities all over Jordan. I also graduated from New York University, Abu Dhabi in May 2020 with a degree in social research and public policy. So when I first received the invitation to attend this forum and talk about my success story, at first I unconsciously went through all the major steps that I went through throughout the past 6 years. Graduating high school, getting a full scholarship at NYUAD, and then traveling the world and learning so much, and then finally working my way up in the UN system. So it took me a while to register that in my head. For me being 24, even though this is still a minor step in my life, but I think that, sorry, I've reached somewhere in my life that, I know I'm going forward to something that I want in the future. And that I'm on the right path. So during university in the last semester, a lot of my friends and classmates were all focused on getting that top job at the top companies and or getting the master's degree in one of the best universities around the world. But for me, I was focused more on perfecting my senior thesis, which was on the contributing factors and perceptions on the female labor force participation. So for those who don't know this, Jordan has the lowest female labor force participation rate in the world, one of the lowest, which is 14%. So for me, it was really interesting to explore this topic because I'm really passionate about it and about gender equality and social equality. So I just wanted to understand how people think in Jordan. But honestly, working on it for 9 months was very stressful for me because even though I studied social research, at that time I did not enjoy actually doing social research, quantitative and qualitative data. And I thought it was definitely something that I don't want to do in the future. But at the same time, I thought it's also I could use my senior thesis to my advantage when applying for jobs, because I was really interested in applying for jobs in the humanitarian sector. So I thought that I could use this for my benefit when applying, because I think I envision myself working in NGOs or INGOs, or even in the UN, UN Women, to work on programs. So 5 months after graduating and having done so many interviews and being rejected from so many jobs, I was selected for a security analyst internship at UNRWA HQ in Jordan. It was something, again, I wasn't really interested in, but at the same time I thought it was a good step to to set a foot in the UN system. So during my internship, I was selected 2 months after. I was selected for another internship at UNICEF Jordan Country Office, and since it seemed more in line with what I want to do and what I'm interested in, I thought it was the best decision to move forward with it. So knowing that I only had 4 months to impress my supervisor and my team, I knew that I had to prove myself in terms of capabilities and that I belonged there. So that meant working overtime and on weekends, and even when I had COVID for 2 weeks, I still worked very hard during the weekends and overtime. Not something that I encourage, but also because I really I'm a person who tends to overachieve. Because I know at the start of your career, you need to push yourself to the maximum. So add to all of that, my supervisor, he loved the method of learning by doing, which means that he assigned the tasks to me, but then I needed to figure it out all by myself, which was pretty stressful, but it also helped me to work under stress and learn so many skills in such a limited time. So 3 months into the internship, and after gaining my supervisor's trust in terms of capabilities and skills, he gave me he handed me a project, a 3 million worth euro project, which was basically the distribution of tablets to vulnerable children and youth. The tablets came with internet, so a 10 gigabyte package, and pre-installed learning applications. This was during COVID, after school closures, and following that in 2022, it was part of the Digital Inclusion Initiative. So during the past 2 years, I handled the distribution of the tablets, provided trainings for facilitators in our Makani centers. I even gave trainings to parents and their children. I even did a video, as an orientation during the distribution. So the orientation was basically on how to use the tablet and what they can access, because we also implemented an online child safeguarding element. So knowing how big of a project it was very stressful for me at times, when I felt like I couldn't push through. Because there's a lot of aspects for the project, like following up on each and every tablet from the moment it leaves the warehouses to reaching the children in their at their home, and making sure that they are receiving the service properly, like even the internet month by month. So part of that included quantifying the impact, which meant that I had to do quantitative and qualitative research. And so I worked on creating survey tools for both parents and for their children. And so it felt like, and then I also worked on a digital exclusion document that was done by GAGE, which is Gender and Adolescence Global Evidence, which is a global study on adolescence. And so it focused on digital exclusion among disadvantaged adolescents in Jordan. So they covered our project. So that's when I realized that I'm very interested in data and data research and quantitative and qualitative. Again, I studied social research, but I was not very interested in it at first. And I was very sure that I wanted to pursue this, because I did a lot of hands-on experience with other colleagues in my team, such as working with youth on skills building initiatives, child protection, education. But then I realized that I wanted to work on evaluation reports and research. So I still wanted to do more within this line of work, and I felt like I have the capacity to do more hands-on experience. So I volunteered with UNDP Regional Office in Jordan and worked on a data mapping exercise to understand how youth are being involved in the objectives and goals of the UNDP offices all around the MENA region. So now that I felt like I'm more exposed to this line of work, I envision myself, I hope to work as an evaluation specialist sometime in the future after gaining more experience, hopefully within the UN system. So along with the Digital Inclusion Initiative, working on the tablets and evaluations, right now I am leading on the continuous performance assessment of the Makani program through creating monitoring tools, and then I also do a data analysis following the data collection. I am also the focal point working with GAGE, the global study, on evaluations and reports conducted on behalf of Makani program. And I'm also the gender focal point for my section, social protection, where I'm working on indicators to be measured to have the program shift from being gender responsive or gender sensitive to gender transformative, which is part of the gender action plan for UNICEF in the next 5 years. This also applies so I'm also the climate action focal point for the section, which means I'm also working on indicators so that climate action is incorporated more within the programmatic components at UNICEF. So finally, I'd like to say, in my opinion, I think as youth, it's completely normal to not have an idea of what you want to do in the beginning or where you want to be. but it's important to, like, once you realize where your passion lies, I think it's great to, pursue it, and at this, like, manifest. But at the same time, it's important to enjoy every step of the way. Like, even if something minor happened with you, you don't think that it will lead you somewhere. Eventually, at some point, you will see the bigger picture and realize that it's all very connected, and everything you do, whether challenges, accomplishments, it all leads you somewhere in the end. So I think we should appreciate everything we do. So thank you. Any questions, comments?
أول شيء يعطيك ألف عافية.
الله يعافيك.
أنت ببداية حديثك بس حكيتي عن الصعوبات اللي عم بتواجهها المرأة بالأردن. طبعا أنا ما أعتقد هو تقريبا بكل مكان، مش بس بالأردن. بعملك مع اليونيسف بقى إنه أنتم أقرب شوي للمجتمع وأقرب شوي للمرأة لأنه عم تتعاملوا كجندر. أنت شايفة وين في ممكن حل بسيط وممكن في الوقت الحالي للمرأة ممكن ينعمل لا تشتغل، لا تتمكن، ولا نوعا ما تتأهل؟
I think صراحة لازم زي مثلا يونيسف، احنا عم نشتغل هلا على نبلش من في different levels. انت عندك individual level, community level, family حتى level, community, and then government. It's not enough to work on a policy level because it's كمان you need to change the perception, you need to change the mindset بالcommunities. Because it's not even I'm not gonna say a specific percentage, بس في كتير ناس a lot of women بالأردن بمحافظات تانية غير عمان rural areas, they don't believe that women should work. إنه there's a stereotypical role that women are only there to بالضبط. it's not enough to do awareness campaigns, you need to encourage. لازم يكون في مبادرات تنعمل تساعد الناس. مثلا احنا بيونيسف بلشنا في واحد من البروجكتس انه عملنا بواحدة من المحافظات زي محل خياطة، وفيه ببلشوا النساء انهم يشتغلوا وبالاخر بيقدروا هم يجيبوا لحالهم مصروف البيت، وهيك انت you promote independency حتى within the family. فما بصفي انه بس bread winner اللي هو الميل بالبيت. it's all about كمان action عشان تغير المايند سيت، وكمان تبلش من الصغار. فحتى بمكاني سنتر we have مثلا life skills بتنعطى للاطفال whether girls and boys. فهيك انت بتشجعهم انه لا، في حقوق اساسيه لازم تكون، ومن حق زي حق الطفله مثلا يكون عندها انها تتعلم، وانها بالاخر توصل محل وتشتغل. ف hopefully جاوبت سؤالك. في اي اسئله ثانيه؟
موضوع الشغل المرأة بالذات في الوطن العربي هو محتاج يبقى فيه بالانس شوية. أنا هشتغل أوكي وكل حاجة، بس البيت، فهي لازم تبقى فيه اقتراحات لبعض الأعمال للنساء تكون ما تأثرش على البيت وفي نفس الوقت يجي لها دخل. هي مش فكرة مساواة. أنا طبيبة أسنان، أنا خدت قرار إن أنا في لحظة مش هينفع إن أنا أروح أشتغل دوام الصبح وبالليل، وفي ولادي هيبقى في 60 بديل ليهم. هجيب واحدة تساعدني في البيت، هوديهم بالباص مش أنا اللي أوصلهم. فأنت بتوصلي لمرحلة إن أنت لأ، ما هو مش هينفع أعمل حاجة معينة أنا بحبها ونجحت فيها عشان ولادي.
صح.
فمفيش بالانس. لازم أنا مثلا لو في مهنة معينة يبقى في اوبشن للنساء في حاجة معينة، إن لا عادي جدا إنك تشتغلي دوام جزئي وقت المدرسة والولد ترجع لهم. لكن مفيش كده. هي الفير مش في ان الست تشتغل او ما تشتغلش، او تتعلم او ما تتعلمش. الفكره في بعد ما انت اتعلمتي ووصلتي ونجحتي وعملتي كل اللي تقدري تعمليه، في الاخر لا، انت قدامك اختيارين: بيتك ولا شغلك.
صح. ما هي لازم عشان هيك